We continue now at the top of Daf Gimel Amid Beis Meseches Makkos. This is Makkos Daf 3b. And the previous Amid Rav Yehuda said from Shmuel that if somebody lends money to his friend for 10 years, so Shvius Misham Taso, the Shemitah year is going to cancel the loan, because of course within those 10 years there will be a Shemitah year. And the statement continues, V'afagav, and even though the Hashta lo Karinan Be Lo Yigos, right now, meaning in the Shemitah year, you can't apply the pasuk of Lo Yigos. The pasuk of Lo Yigos, that is the pasuk that talks about Shvius canceling the loans. It says that in the Shemitah year, Lo Yigos Esreyeyu, you're not allowed to exact that payment. He cannot exact that payment from his friend, and so you'll say at the time of the Shemitah year, the loan is not due anyhow, but sof asili de Lo Yigos. But in the end, it's going to come to a situation of Lo Yigos, and so therefore, even though the loan is not actually due on the Shemitah year, still the Shemitah year, Shvius Mesham Taso, it will cancel the loan. And the Gemara continues, Meisiv Rav Kahana. Rav Kahana asks a question from our Mishnah. The Mishnah said, Omdim kama adam rotza litein, v'yu elav zuz biyado ben liten mikan v'ad lamed yomu ben liten mikan v'ad eser shanim. We have to evaluate how much would a person give in order that he has 1,000 zuz in his possession. Instead of having to pay it back in 30 days, he's going to pay it back in 10 years. What the Mishnah was talking about again was you have Eidim, Zomim, and false witnesses. They testified that the person owes the money in 30 days. He actually says, and he actually does owe it in 10 years. The Eidim are proven to be false. And so the Mishnah said you have to evaluate what's the difference between having to pay in 30 days or being able to hold on to the money until 10 years. But now the problem is as follows. If it's 10 years, the whole loan should be canceled. So really they're testifying that he owes money, and otherwise he would have owed nothing according to what Rav Yehuda just said from Shmuel. If you're going to say that Shvius cancels the loan by a 10-year loan, so kulu nami boy shalumele, they should pay the entire thing. That's what the Mishnah should have said. They owe the entire debt. And the Gemara continues and answers, Amar Rava says, Hacha b'mayaskin, and here in our Mishnah, what are we talking about? B'malva al hamashkon, we can talk about either a situation where the loan was with collateral. In a situation where the loan is with collateral, there Shemitah does not cancel the loan. Uv'moser shtaros of lebezin, or you can be talking about a case where the documents are given over to the court. The Tanan, as we learned in the Mishnah, Hamalva al hamashkon, if somebody lends money with a mashkon with collateral, v'hamoser shtaros of lebezin, or if somebody gives over his documents to the court, ein mashmitin, in those situations, we say there is no shvius canceling the loan. Rashi says Moser shtaros of lebezin is hu pruzbul. Moser shtaros of lebezin is the same thing as a pruzbul. Shehiskin Hillel, that's what Hillel instituted. Shekasa bo, you write in there Mosrani lachem ploni ploni hadayonin shavim lachem ploni. We're giving it over to the judges. Shekol chov sheyeshli shagvenu kol zman sheirtz. That says any debt which I have, I'll be able to collect at any time. So essentially, according to Rashi, Moser shtaros of lebezin is a pruzbul, and the point over here is you could have a loan that even though normally Shemitah would cancel the loan, again, like Shmuel says, by a 10-year loan, it normally should be canceled. But again, you can have ways of getting around that, either by having a loan on collateral or by giving the shtaros over to Bezin, again, in which case we say Ein Mashmitin, we say that Shvius does not cancel the loan. And the Gemara continues with another version of the above Gemara. Ika di'amri, there are those that say, Amar Rav Yehuda Mar Shmuel. Rav Yehuda says that Shmuel says, Hamal v'eschaveru l'asar shanim. If somebody lends his friend money for 10 years, ein shvius mesham taso. According to this version, Shmuel says that shvius does not cancel the loan. V'afagav da'asi lidei lo yigos, even though eventually there'll be a situation of lo yigos, meaning the loan eventually will become due, but right now, mia lo karinan be lo yigos. We don't call lo yigos in the Shemitah year when the loan is not due. Therefore, we say that shvius will not cancel the loan, because again, if the loan is not due in the Shemitah year, we do not apply the pasuk. And so the Gemara continues according to this version. Amar Rav Kahana says, Afanon nami tanina. That's exactly what we learned in our Mishnah. In this version, the Mishnah is a support for Shmuel, because the Mishnah says, Omdin kama adam rotza liten v'yu elav zuz biyado ben liten mikan v'ad lamen yomu ben liten mikan v'ad eser shanim. Again, we have to evaluate when it comes to making the Eidim Zomin pay. What's the difference that a person would pay to have 1,000 zuz in his hand instead of having to pay in 30 days? He only has to pay in 10 years. And if you're going to say that Shemitah canceled the loan, he should have had to pay the whole thing. But it doesn't say the Eidim should have had to pay the whole thing. But it doesn't say that the Eidim have to pay the whole thing. Therefore, it is a support for Shmuel. And the Gemara says, no, Amar Rava says, Hacha b'mayaskin. And here, what are we talking about? B'malval hamashkon. It could be we're talking where the loan was made on a mashkon. The loan was made with collateral of a moser, shtaros of lebezin, or the shtaros, the documents were given over to the court. The Tanan, as we learned in the Mishnah, Hamalva Lamashkin, if somebody lends with collateral, Vahamoser Shtorosel Lebezin, somebody gives his documents over to the court, Ein Mashmit, and in that situation, Shemitah will not cancel the loan. So again, there is a way to get around it. There's a way that Shvius does not cancel the loan, and it could be that is the scenario in the Mishnah, even according to this version of Shmuel. It would not necessarily be a proof to Shmuel, because again, the Mishnah is not talking about a standard 10-year loan, it's talking about these exceptional situations. And the Gemara continues, V'yamar Rav Yehuda Amar Shmuel, and Rav Yehuda says that Shmuel says, Ha'omer l'chaveru, if somebody says to his friend, Al minas shelo tishmeteni shvius, that this loan is on condition that shvius, that the Shemitah year, should not cancel the loan, so you can't say that shvius mishametes. In such a situation, shvius will still cancel the loan. And the Gemara says, Leima, let us say, Kasavar Shmuel, that Shmuel holds, Masnal Masha Kasav Torah, this is a condition you're making against what the Torah says. The Torah says that Shemitah cancels loans, and you're trying to go against that. And anytime you try to make a condition against what is written in the Torah, the Tanai is batal, the Tanai is nullified. That's what it seems that Shmuel is saying. But the Gemara says we have a contradiction, but it was stated the following machlokas amoraim, a very similar case. Let's say there's a transaction, and the person says to his friend on the condition that there's no onah in this situation, meaning even if it's overcharged, undercharged, it's not going to be treated as onah. Rav says yesh lo alav onah. We still say that there's onah. You can't make a condition like that. Shmuel Omer, but Shmuel says ein lo alav onah. There is no claim of onah in this case, meaning you are able to make a condition against what the Torah says. Therefore, it seems to be a contradiction in Shmuel. And the Gemara continues and says, Ha'itmar Allah, but it was stated on there. Amar Rav Hanan, the Rav Hanan said, L'didi mefarshali minei de Shmuel. To me, it was explained from Shmuel what Shmuel actually means, and there's a distinction. It all depends on how it is phrased. Shmuel would say as follows: Al manas she'ein loch alai onah. If the way it's phrased is on the condition that you don't have against me a claim of onah, so that actually is a good condition. Ein lo alav onah. There is no claim of onah. But al manas she'ein bo onah. But if he says on the condition that there is not within it onah, there already it's like you're making a condition against the Torah. There is no onah when there is such a thing as onah. Harei yesh bo onah. So then we say that there is onah. And hachanami here also you can apply the same idea. Shmuel would say it depends how it's phrased. Al manas shelo tishmeteni bashvius. If he says on the condition that it's not going to be canceled bashvius in the Shemitah year, so ein shvius misham taso. So then shvius will not cancel the loan. But al manas shelo tishmeteni shvius on the condition that in general shvius doesn't cancel. So you can't say that. That's going against the Torah. Shvius misham taso. The Shemitah year will in fact cancel in that case. And the Gemara continues, Tanit was taught, Hamalves Chaveiro Stam, if somebody lends money to his friend Stam, he doesn't give a deadline, he doesn't give a time that the money is due. Eino Rashoy Letovo, Pachos Milamed Yom. He can't claim the money from the guy less than 30 days. He has to give the guy at least 30 days. And the Gemara continues, Sava Rava Bar Chana Kamid Rav Lamema, Rava Bar Chana thought to say in front of Rav, Hani Mili B'milva B'shtar. That's true if the loan was made with a document. Delo Oven Inish the Tarach, the Kos of Shtar, Botzim, Mitlos and Yom, and a person's not going to go through the bother of writing a document for a loan less than 30 days. Aval milva al peh, but if let's say the loan is an oral loan, then we would not say that. It could be collected even less than 30 days. And the Gemara continues, Amar le Rav said to him, Hachi Amar Chavivi, this is what my beloved said, this is a reference to Reb Chia, Echad Amal v'Beshtar, whether the loan was made with a document, V'echad Amal v'Alpeh, or whether the loan was made orally, it doesn't make a difference, you always have at least 30 days. And the Gemara continues, Tanya Nami Hachi, we have a brisa like this as well, Hamal v'Schaveru Stam, somebody lends money to his friend with no timetable, Eino Rashoy L'Tovo Pachos Mishloshim Yom, he can't claim the money from him less than 30 days, Echad Amil v'Beshtar, V'echad Amil v'Alpeh, doesn't matter if the loan was made with a document, doesn't matter if the loan was made al peh, if it was an oral loan. And the Gemara continues, Amalei Shmuel Rav Masna, Shmuel said to Rav Masna, Lo teisiv akarach, don't sit down, ad meforshes lo lahashmait, until you explain the following. Minoha milsa, from where do we know the following? Diyamar Rabbanan, from where do we know that which the Rabbanan said? Hamal v'schaveru stam, if somebody lends money to his friend without a timetable, eino rashoy letovo pachos milamed yom, he can't claim it from him less than 30 days. Echad hamil v'beshtar v'echad hamal v'alpeh, doesn't matter if the loan was made with a document, doesn't matter if it was made by al peh. How do we know this idea of 30 days. And the Gemara continues, Amar Lei said to him, D'chsib, because it's written in the pasuk, Korva Shnas HaSheva, Shnas HaShmita, it says the Shemitah year is approaching. Mimashma Shenemar Korva Shnas HaSheva. Now, from the fact that it says the 7th year is approaching, Eini Yodea Shi Shnas Shmita, don't I know that is the Shemitah year? Why does it have to essentially repeat itself? Elamat Hamad Lomar Shnas HaShmita. Why does it say Shnas HaShmita? Lomar Lach, to say to you, Yesh Shmita Acheres Shikazu. There's another kind of a Shemitah, another kind of an amount of time that you shouldn't collect. Ve'ezuzu, and what is this? Hamalve es chaveiro stam, somebody who lends money to his friend stam without a timetable. She'einu rashay l'tova b'pachos mishloshim yom. He can't claim the money with less than 30 days. He has to allow the person 30 days to pay back. It's a similar idea to the Shemitah year when you can't collect a loan. For those first 30 days, you cannot collect the loan. As the Gemara continues, Diyamar Mar, because the master said, Shloshim Yom Bashana, Chashav Shana, 30 days of a year is considered like a year, and so therefore that's why we say 30 days. Again, it's also considered a Shnas, it's also considered to be like a year, and that's like a Shemitah, again, a period of time that you're not able to collect the loan. And Rashi explains Chavivi, again, Chavivi is a reference to Rebbe Chia. Rashi says that Chavivi is Targum Shal Dodi, it's actually the translation of Dodi, my uncle, again, a direct reference to Rebbe Chia. Rebbe Chia, Achi Aviv Hayr. Rebbe Chia was the brother of his father, that's the brother of Rav's father. And Rashi continues, Shehi Kazu, that it is similar to this, meaning Shakru Yashana, meaning 30 days, can also be called a year. And the Gemara continues, V'yamar Rav Yehuda Marav, and Rav Yehuda says that Rav says, Haposech beis hatzavar b'Shabbos chayev chatos. If somebody opens up the area of the neck in a garment, so that now the person can wear that garment, and he does this on Shabbos, so the person is chayev chatos. That is a violation of Shabbos. And the Gemara continues, Maskav lo Rav Kahana. Rav Kahana asks on this, V'chima bein zela megufas chavis. What's the difference between this and, let's say, the seal of a barrel? And the Gemara says, Amar Lei said to him, Zechibur, one of them is attached, V'zechibur, in the other case, V'ze'eno chibur, rather, and in the other case it is not attached. And Rashi explains, he has a new garment, and he's making that opening where the person is going to put his head, which is going to go around his neck. So chayiv is considered chayiv, and why is he chayiv? Rashi says, shetikin kli. He's now fixed this vessel. That's a violation of Shabbos. And Rashi notes, why do we have this over here? It's because Mishum Damar Rav Yehuda le'el hamalves chaveiro leser shanim. We had a statement from Rav Yehuda before about a 10-year loan. V'yosvei Rav Kahana, and on that statement Rav Kahana asked a question. So nakanami lekulu hanachmil d'shmaitin. So then we have all these kinds of sugyas. The Amrinu Rav Yehuda, V'yosvei Rav Kahana, where Rav Yehuda said something and Rav Kahana asked a question. And Rashi continues, V'chima bein zela megufas hachavis. What's the difference between this and the seal of a barrel, the lid of a barrel? We say Meseches Shabbos and Parachavis. The mat is rosha b'Shabbos b'sayif liftoach es hachavis. You can take a sword and you can open up the top of that barrel on Shabbos. And what's the difference between doing that and opening up the garment to be used? And the Gemara answered, Zed beis hatzav or hayachibur. In the case of the neck where you're opening it up, it was attached. Hilkach pesach tikun chadash huzeh. The point is, it's a completely new opening. Aval hamagufa, but when you have a lid which is sealed onto a barrel, afagav shitocha al pi hachavis betit, even though you're using tit, you're using this kind of a clay or cement in order to seal it. Ein zeh chibur, that's not considered chibur, because again, it was really a separate piece that you attached. V'havalo kipsucha v'omedis, it's like it's already opened, and that's why to open it on Shabbos, that's not a violation of Shabbos on a doraisa level. And the Gemara continues, V'yam Rav Yehuda Marav, and Rav Yehuda says that Rav says, Shloshas lugin mayim shenafal asochan quart of shel yayin. Let's say you have 3 lug of water, and there's a little tiny bit of wine that falls into that water. Umareyan kamare yayin, and it looks like wine. Let's say it's the color of wine. Let's say it's red. V'naflu lemikvah, and that all falls into the mikvah. Lo paslu, that does not disqualify the mikvah. Ma'askiv lo Rav Kahana. Rav Kahana asked on this, V'chima bein zel lemeit seva. What's the difference between this and water that was dyed? Let's say you have colored water. So we say that 3 lugin of the drawn water which is colored, it would disqualify the mikvah. So why over here does it not disqualify the mikvah? And the Gemara continues, the Tanan, as we learned in the Mishnah, Rabbi Yossi Omer made seva poslinas ha-mikvah b'shloshas lugin. If you have dyed water, you have colored water, it does disqualify the mikvah if there's 3 lug. And so what's the difference between that and a situation where some wine fell in the water? And the Gemara continues and answers, Amar le Rava, Rava said to him, Hasam mayo detziva mikri. Over there it's referred to as colored water. But over here, chamra meziga mikri. It's actually called wine that is diluted. It's referred to as wine and not water, so it does not disqualify the mikvah. But the Gemara continues, V'atani Rabbi Chia, but didn't Rabbi Chia teach Horidu es ha-mikvah, that they do take down the mikvah, that they do say it's problematic in the situation of the wine? And the Gemara answers to that. Amar Rava says, Lo kash, it's not difficult. Har Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri, har Rabbanan, it's actually a machlokas tanoim. One is the opinion of Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri, the other is the Rabbanan. The Tanan is, as we learned in a Mishnah, Shloshes log and mayim, again, if you have 3 log of water. And Rashi explains, Lo paslu, again, it doesn't disqualify the mikvah by the wine situation. Zil basar chazusa, because you have to follow what it looks like. V'yayin eno posel as ha-mikvah. Wine does not disqualify a mikvah. Upsul mikvah b'mayim she'uvin midrabanan, who Rashi notes, when you have 3 log of drawn water that disqualify a mikvah, that's a din d'Rabbanan. The Gemara then asked, V'hatani Rabbi Chia, but didn't Rabbi Chia teach Shloshes lugan mayim shenafel asochen quart of yayin amarin kamar yayin v'naflu lemikvah, that if you have this case of 3 lug of water and a little bit of wine falls in and it looks like wine and it falls into the mikvah, horidu es ha-mikvah me'ach she'er lefsol, that they did say the mikvah is taken down from being kosher and is considered disqualified. And the Gemara then answered, Har Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri, meaning Rav could Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri. Rav would follow Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri to azul basar chazusa. He follows the way that it looks, and so therefore we say that it's considered to be wine and it does not disqualify the mikvah. That's going to be Rav's position, and we will continue with this discussion in the next video on Daf Dalid Amud Aleph.